Welcome. This is It Has Pockets,
a podcast about celebrating our everyday and sharing those things we're all holding.
I'm Abby.
And I'm Laura.
This episode is all about the things that we have been carrying this past year. And
empty out the 2023 pockets. And it gives you guys an opportunity to get to know us a little bit better.
And also I like the idea of what are we going to put back in our pockets and what things are kind of done serving us.
Yeah. Okay, you want to jump into it?
Yeah. I'll start with a less deep one, but I will say that cross-stitching has become my new obsession.
Okay. No big deal. I've cross-stitched for a while. I'm not going to immediately take credit for your interest in it because I know that you have done that in the past.
Literally what it was is that I started cross-stitching, and the way women were coming out of the woodwork and being like, I cross-stitch too.
It feels
or
so
I used
good.
To.
I love cross-stitching. Feels very, very good doing that kind of work with my hands.
Yes. So I used to cross-stitch when I was younger, and it'd been a while since I'd done anything in needlework, and I was like, what is a hobby that I can do that I'm not going to turn into a business?
Yes.
Because if you're new here, I have a business where I do handcrafted jewelry, and one of the problems when you do that is that your hobbies become your business. And I was like, I need a hobby that's not a business. So I reached into cross-stitching again, and I just became obsessed with it. I love it. I love it. Love how contemplative it is. Like you said, contemplative.
Why?
Contemplative.
How?
Contemplative. That's the word.
But like how?
Because it's simple. Because I don't have to think about it that much. It's just like those little stitches, one after the other.
Okay.
There's like a satisfying, meditative like feeling to it for me. Yeah.
I see, for me, I like to cross stitch because I have quite a bit of anxiety. It helps me do something with my hands and kind of channel that into something that is productive. For me, it's like an outlet of that anxiety, pressure, and all that.
I love how many patterns I've been able to find and supporting other small makers on Etsy. And the whole thing is fun. It's been a huge joy for me this past year. And I'm definitely putting that back in my pocket. How about you, Laura?
One thing I think I am, emptying my pockets of is this idea that I can only wear pastels. That feels really silly at a surface level. But my body has gone through quite a bit of a transformation since having children, in that I lost a considerable amount of weight. So I have never existed in this body. I took most of 2023 and a bit of 2022 where I just didn't know what to put on my body, and I just put on neutrals.
Yeah. And when you're saying pastels, like, just
like
neutrals.
Yeah. And
like...
I would make a joke. Well, I would make a joke. Oh, I'm too pale to wear dark things. I felt confused, and I just sort of existed in this space of the low contrast with my extremely pale skin. And I don't think I really liked it, and I don't think it really represented me. And I would have moments where I'm like, oh, I need to paint my nails white before I take pictures, or I need to wear this color when I go out. And I want to wear what I want to wear. And I'm still learning what that is. I openly and don't fully know what my style is, and I'm kind of trying to find that out. And my TikTok feed is filled with Gen Z telling me how to look cool as a geriatric millennial. I am still kind of navigating that space, but for 2024, I want to wear what I want to wear, and I don't want to be limited by not knowing who I am and not feeling fully comfortable in my body. I just want to put on what I want to wear, and I want to enjoy it, and I want to feel good.
Yeah, but I think what you're saying is that time of like neutrals served you, right? For the space to sit and like let your body settle and let it do the changes and transformation it was doing.
Yeah. But some of my favorite articles of clothing are things that I would never take pictures in, and I'm starting to ask myself why. Yeah. Why am I changing my nail polish from dark to white before I go when I want to wear dark?
I think we're going to see a lot of that in 2024. Like I think we're looking at a renaissance of like color, and people, I heard the idea of like dopamine dressing. Like
I have not heard that.
Yes, search dopamine dressing. It is incredible. It's just this idea that like the things we wear should bring us joy. Yeah.
And I exist. I mean, I'm wearing it right now. I exist in sweaters. I love sweaters. That'll be quite a transition. I don't know what I will do
Yeah.
whenever the sweaters have to go back into the closet.
Well, I think one of the things that I'm pulling out of my pocket and kind of like looking at again is similar to that, but it's actually makeup. So I am a very low maintenance person, always have been, but I also have really light features, and it has been this thing where I thought I could not be in public without mascara and eyebrows on. Like,
weird, right? That's a
but
thing.
it's a real thing. I also hate that feeling of like, I can't show up in the world genuinely unless I'm made up.
Yeah.
And so this past year, I have gone large chunks of time where I'm not putting makeup on. And I really like the feeling of getting to choose when I do that. So it's still something I'm going to take.
My makeup has gotten lighter, but I don't know that I could go full.
It messes with my head.
I bet.
I would have anxiety if someone rang the doorbell and I didn't have eyelashes on.
Oh.
Like I am low maintenance. We're talking about someone who's wearing
That is very
But I would just be like
uncharacteristic.
I look sick or I don't look
Oh.
because we just have all these internal programming. And I'm not here to like bash makeup. Like I
oh my
love
gosh,
it.
I love
Thank
makeup,
God
and I
for it.
am not interpreting you as bashing it. I love it.
But it's something I want to be able to reach for when I want to reach for it and not be a compulsion. So I feel like that's something that I'm kind of letting go a little bit, is that need. Also, something that I am just really working through is this sense of embodiment. And this is just an idea that the experiences that we happen in our life also affect our bodies. And that's new ideas for me. But it's something that I'm intentionally creating ideas and practices around.
Wait, what is the new idea?
It's not a new idea. It's something that is becoming culturally talked about. I feel like this sense of embodiment that like your emotions don't just exist in your head.
Or just, I mean, well, I think we see that a lot with what we see on social media and things like that with international conflicts, and where you're seeing physical effects from things that we're all taking in.
There's a huge conversation happening right now about trauma and generational trauma and how it sits in our bodies, and all of those things I have had to really wrestle with. And going forward, I'm in the space where it's not just, oh, that's a real thing. It's okay, I know that that's a real thing. So how do I enter into a new adventure or a new situation? My children are coming home. Am I going to just sit and breathe for a few minutes to prepare myself, prepare my actual body, not just my brain, for those transitions? In a vague sense, embodiment.
Physical needs and how they connect to your emotional.
Right. How often as women are we sitting in a space of numbness? Like something is happening and you're like, I forgot I had a body.
Too heavy for the first episode.
Listen, what are we going to do? We're going to do it.
Straight into the numbness and disassociation. Woo!
I don't want that. It's really hard to live in the present. It is extremely hard. Yeah, our society is not set up for that, but I think it's important. So I'm ready to do small steps to incorporate more of that into my life moving forward.
I think that's great.
Anything else on your list?
One of the things that I am keeping in my pocket is the care and concern about my marriage. My husband, his name is Kyle. From now on, I will refer to him as Kyle and not my husband, because that is lengthy. We have been married 13 years. Yeah. And so in 2020, we probably needed a good round of marriage counseling, really just because life is different. It's very different. We've been together for so long, but life looks different when you have 3 kids now in the picture. And then when COVID became a thing, my mother-in-law moved in with us. So it's just, there are lots of new dynamics in our worlds, and we want to make sure that we are connecting just as 2 people who still want to do life together and love each other very much. It's very challenging at times, but it's just something that we've wanted to put a priority on. And it's nice. We go to counseling each week, which is kind of new.
Love that date night.
Yeah. Yes. It's we go to counseling, and honestly, it's just been really wonderful just to have an hour where we can talk away from the kids, because by the time everyone is in bed asleep, no way are we going to sit down and discuss
embodiment.
Deep things. And yes, I mean, we're done by that time.
Yeah.
So being able to have some time for ourselves and just focus on our relationship a little bit more this year.
I love that. I think with those heavy subjects like marriage, it's like those subjects that are just connected to everything else.
Yes.
I would definitely say that 2023 was a hard year for me. I am sitting in sort of the recovery of going through what I would have called a depressive state throughout the year. Mm-hmm. But I did it with different tools. So in the past, when I have gone through those spaces in my life, I really would fight it, and I felt like I was free falling. This past year, I saw it coming, and I had the tools to be intentional about it and call it what it was, which was time of grieving this idea of who I thought I was going to be moving into my 40s. Not the way people think about grieving. I didn't lose a loved one. I didn't have some sort of catastrophic event happen to me. But I realized I was reaching this place of grieving a future that I thought, just make space for that, instead of just being like, well, you're not there yet. You're not doing that yet. Just throw it to the side. It was stupid all to begin with. Yeah. Which is what my brain wants to tell me. I really looked at it and honored it, and kind of what we're doing right now in this podcast, this idea of the things that I've carried, the ideas and the person that I wanted to be was put in my life for really intentional reasons. And I was I'm reaching it. I'm reaching what I thought was going to be this particular future. I thought my family was going to look a certain way. I thought my life and my marriage was going to look a certain way. And yet it's not. And there's so many beautiful things happening in my life. But I needed to grieve the loss of what I thought was going to be there. Whoa. So that is a huge thing that I was carrying around last year. At this point, I can see myself being able to take that and put that to the side and move into the ideas and the type of person that I am capable of being with the pieces that I have right now. It's kind of existential.
Let's go. Just jump into your next one. Yeah.
I collect mugs. And my mug collection is completely saturated, and it needs to stop. I love handcrafted mugs, and I've had such joy with it, but I've got to stop. I'm going to use them, but I'm not going to get any more. We're going to be a little wiser with our finances, hopefully.
One thing that I feel like a lot of mine are what I'm filtering through.
There we go.
My 2023 pockets, but I really have enjoyed leaning into the spooky side of me. Yeah. And that is just something that I enjoy. For a long time, I felt a lot of shame and guilt just existing in a very evangelical world. But I like it. And in the past couple years, where maybe I would just sit back and not offer a fun fact about a serial killer or a gruesome fact from historical horror that has been our existence, I now am a little bit more forthcoming with that and a little bit more confident in that part of my identity as something that I'm interested in. I really like spooky stuff, and I'm kind of just done apologizing for it. A lot of it gets mixed in with this excitement over Halloween, but that's not the situation. I genuinely really like scary stuff. Yes. I like the feeling of being scared. I also love learning about the gruesome history of our world.
Yeah, you like something that's uneasy. Laura likes the unease.
I like things that make people uncomfortable, and I'm more secure in that than I have been in the previous years. And also not taking that discomfort into a place of shame.
What I love about that is this is a way that we are very different.
Yeah. Yes.
I actually...
Yes. Everyone around me does not like horror. No one around me seems to like it, so...
I love it about you.
Thank you.
I love that about you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would say on the other side, I got obsessed with cozy fantasy this last year. Completely different. I love it.
Very different.
So I want my books this year to make me feel like I am curled up in a warm hug and the most safe.
So I like feeling scarred.
Perfect.
at the end. I want to feel broken when I finish a book, when I finish a movie, when I finish a show.
I think that's a good
great
view of us as our friendship.
It is.
And we both fully support each other. I definitely get supported in my loving of, Lord of the Rings. And this morning, Laura was saying, I need some more Irish music. I was like, girl.
Yeah.
I will find you some Irish
jig
music.
Okay, for what it's worth, I was asking for Irish jig music for my children. I'm not just walking around being like, God, I could use some Irish music.
Me being immediately having a playlist.
All I could think of was like Dropkick Murphys. And I was like, that's a little too
much.
intense.
It's a little much. I do have an amazing story about Dropkick Murphys, though. So growing up, I was in homeschool spaces that are really interesting, and one of the things we would do is we would do balls, and we would dress up period
like galas,
like made my own hoop skirt dress.
Oh, okay, but sorry, prom
Murphy's,
type of
kind of. But imagine you're in a homeschool. And how are you ever going to meet anybody?
Wow.
You would have like balls and have danced to a Dropkick Murphy song.
That just what showed up on the homeschool playlist?
It was like the after party. It was like the after party thing.
Where do we start with the homeschool after parties?
after the like normal dance, it was like family friendly. Then the teenagers would stay back and do more dancing.
Wow.
That's what we did.
Wow.
And
okay.
Yes.
I am excited to hear more about that.
We are having a lot that we're pulling out of our pockets and looking at and want to bring forward.
I think this is a nice way to look at it instead of just like, what are your goals? What do you want to achieve? Yes. I like the idea of cleaning out your stuff where you're just like, good Lord, what happened in here? I think that's really good to do, and more than once a year.
That's what we're doing here. And doing it in a way that is not shame-based. Those things were there for a reason, right?
Right.
We're looking forward to a year full of, for me, cozy, embodied, intentional vibes.
Yeah.
And what about for you?
Maybe confidence, and sort of, but a more authentic confidence, a deeper confidence of familiarity with myself, my personality, and allowing everyone to see the same side of me. I joke that I'm so good at social media because I'm so good at compartmentalization. A lot of breaking down those walls and creating this cohesive version of Laura.
I love it. We would love to hear what you guys are maybe emptying your pockets of from past season or year of your life, and what you continue to hold on to that helps serve you and is helping you grow. We'd love to hear from you guys.
You can find us at It Has Pockets Pod on Instagram and send us an email at ithaspocketspod@gmail.com. Bye.
Bye.